You know what? Yes, I am wearing a shirt and I am wearing a jacket for today's video. But you know what? I wore it and I thought, what I want to talk about today and the help I want to give you, actually, I feel like the type of person that would do this for a football club. Right now, I feel like a chairman, a manager wearing a shirt and like a nice jacket. But what I'm going to help you guys today is actually help you on how to spend £20 million in FIFA 19 career mode. You'll be able to see by the title, but this actually applies to whatever budget you do, because I'm actually going to give you tips and I'm going to tell you a percentage of your budget to actually spend it. And the reason I'm actually doing this is because I started season 2 with Blackburn Rovers. Episode 1 will be live this Sunday. And I started recording and I noticed all I did was splash the cash on players. I would spend £6 million on a player that was worth 2.5 million, or a player that was worth 10 and I would spend 15, and you're wasting that budget where it can be harvested and nurtured in other areas, which I think some of you might actually underestimate and wouldn't have thought of actually using it there. And that's what I'm actually going to give you today, guys. I'm actually going to give you 5 tips to actually check out and really consider where you should actually spend your budget. And I'm going to break it all down. We're going to go into each section. But anyway, guys, before I get on into that very first tip, make sure you do it. Of course, you do hit that like button because it means a lot. And of course, if you are brand new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Plenty more videos coming every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 6 PM. But anyway, guys, without further ado, let's go on into the very first tip. This tip is very underestimated. I didn't realize how much it actually helps you in the long run. So set yourself up an actual global transfer network. Give yourself around 10% of your budget, so not too much at all. Just give yourself enough to actually give yourself a new scout or something to actually go out and scout a load of players. The actual benefit with this is that I notice, of course, when you're scouting players, sometimes you got to wait like 3 weeks or so to actually get any type of report on them. And sometimes, especially at the last minute stages, that's just not good enough. And you don't want to be winging it and wasting your budget on a player which you're a bit like, oh, I'm a little unsure if I should sign him. I don't know what his rating is. I don't know his full potential. I don't know. But with actually having that global transfer network, you are all sorted and you can send them out wherever you want. But anyway, guys, that's the first tip. Let's go on to the next one. And as well as setting up that, you want to set yourself up a youth squad. Honestly, do it in season 1, or if you haven't yet, do wherever season you're actually in, because at the end of the day, you need something going on in the background. You need something being developed. You need some growth without actually worrying about it. Because the brilliant thing is that you can sign players, watch them grow, put them out on loan without spending hardly any money. The brilliant thing with actually having a youth squad and actually an academy set up is that players who are like 40, 50 rated to begin with are only going to be on a couple £100 wage a week. And when they start getting to that 70s and 80 rated, they near enough still on the same wage. So you are saving yourself an absolute quality amount of money there. So when you're actually setting that up, consider spending around 20% of your budget. Not a lot again, but it is enough to actually give yourself around 2 scouts or so, I would say, and actually start bringing in players. If you actually want to pick the best and not just sign everyone, especially if you have got a limited budget, say if you only had £1 million, you could only spend 200 grand on this. Check out my video. I put up in the top right now. It is actually how to find the best youth players. Very, very easy to actually do. It's just a few little key things that you need to keep your eye on, and definitely something to check out. So check that out, guys. I'll put that in the top right for you. But anyway, make sure you do it. 20% of your budget on your scouting network. And on the theme of youth players, you need to get yourself some hidden gems. Not too many, because the problem is when you're competing, especially when you have this budget, when you have like a 20 mil budget, you know for a fact that you're going to be competing near enough. So you don't want to be signing loads of players, like 6 hidden gem players who are only going to be 60 odd rated and you got to wait to develop. They're not really going to be into your squad, are they? You're going to have to wait a couple seasons before they do. Get yourself about 3, I would say, 2 to 3 players who are hidden gems. Get them on the cheap, possibly the better ones, like your Tonali's, your Angel Gomez's, your Pews, those type of players to actually bring into the squad, because you can get those on the cheap, very lowish wage, and you can actually bring them in and you'd be a very good player in several seasons' time. But the problem is, if you left them several seasons, they'll probably be too expensive to actually sign. I would not recommend signing them whatsoever. But the brilliant thing is that you can just leave sizzle in the background, grow a little bit, put them out on loan to actually grow even more if you wanted. definitely something to really take in consideration. But yet again, this is actually only around 20% of your budget, not too much once again. Only because is that you don't want to be spending loads. That's what it is. Get yourself as well a couple of squad set up. That's the best way I think to actually do it, to see where your star players are, your second string, your first string, and your youth. Because what I actually have in the Blackburn Rovers career mode, I have a first team, second team, third, and a youth squad, which isn't full yet. But in my third string, I have a couple of hidden gem players, which are lower rated than my first and second choice, but I know for a fact will be better than my first and second choice in a couple of seasons' time. So I got them there, waiting to develop, possibly loaning them out, coming into a couple of games every so often throughout the entire season until they start getting a lot better. So really take that in consideration. Splash the cash, get yourself 20% on that budget. Right, guys, coming in next is the main one. Of course, when you get the budget, you want to be spending the money. You want to get brill players. You want to get the best players actually into your squad. Get yourself some starting 11 players. That's what you want. You don't want loads. You don't want loads. Because one of the biggest issues I've ever done is buy loads of brand new starting 11 players. One, after I've done it, I regret it because I don't find it as enjoyable. Because I'm like, oh, what am I going to do in January? I've already signed the players that I wanted. I just need them to develop. Sign about 3 to 4, right? Or even 2 to be precise, to be fair, because I've recently got up from the championship and I thought 2 was enough. You just want to improve the squad a little bit, and then as well you can get 2 better players rather than 3 or 4 average players. So take that in consideration. Get yourself 40% of your budget, get yourself some starting 11 players, because at the end of the day you need to develop your squad. You need to compete to stay. For example, if you did get promoted to the Premier League, but like my Blackburn Rovers career mode, you need to sign players that are going to keep you in the Premier League. So consider doing that as a little bit of a potential. Not too much, because of course it depends how much budget you got, but will do really well for you. So really take that in consideration. Starting 11 players, improve that squad, stay afloat. 40% of your budget, very easy. One of the biggest regrets I have, and this is tip number 5 in career mode, I never ever until now, because I did it as I was about to buy another player, leave budget until January. It's one of the things I never do in career mode, because the problem is when I get the money, I get overexcited. I think a lot of us do. I think we get the money and we're like, I've been doing a road to glory, and you know what? I've had 2 mil a season. Now I'm on 20, 30 million. I'm going to just splash it. And then you have... The thing you need to realize is that you're going to want to improve your squad in January. And I always find it fun anyway. It's nice to bring in new players in January. But also, you need budget aside to actually sort out your squad. You need the wages. You need contract negotiations going on in the background. Leave yourself some budget. Because the thing is, though, players kick off in FIFA career mode all the time. About anything. Literally. Oh, I'm not happy with my contract. Dude, you're meeting your contract criteria. Check out that video as well. Squad roles. If you have a little bit of budget, you can negotiate a new contract with them. You have that option, and if you don't have that option for 6 months, well, 4 months until January, or even the season after, because sometimes you might not get a budget till then, it's always difficult to maintain those players' happiness, that morale, when you just don't have the money there. So always leave yourself a little bit of budget to the side, so whatever's left over from when you've bought your players, your scout network, your global network, and your youth squad, when that's all spent, really consider thinking, you know what, I'm going to leave some budget, leave it till January. Will I need to improve the side? We'll wait and see. If not, I can negotiate contracts. If I want to make someone a prime player, I can do that. If I want to bring up youth squad, I can do that. If a hidden gem's doing well, you can do that. So really take that in consideration. Always leave some budget. I underestimated it. I never did it, but it benefits you so much. Try it and leave some. But anyway, guys, they were my top 5 tips on how to spend £20 million in FIFA 19 career mode. Yes, I know this actually applies to all career modes because also I did it in percentages. Even if you got a million, 5 mil, 20 million, 100 million, 400 million, that's ridiculous if you've got 400 mil budget, or billion because that glitch is still in it. It will work. It will help you out. You just obviously spend more because you're buying higher quality players, or your hidden gems you're spending more on. So take into consideration, guys, let me know your tips as well on career mode, what you do with your budget. Do you do something different? Make sure you comment below. It'd be really appreciated. It'd be interesting to see what you guys actually do. But I hope this benefits you, because you know what? To learn career mode, you need to make mistakes. And to be fair, I made the mistake with Season 2. I literally just splashed the cash on players. I spent too much than I should. There's too much on the wage bill, which I'm going to have to go through the season and negotiate back down, which I love doing. It's so boring, but when you get someone to go from a 10 to a 5 grand wage, it's one of the best feelings in the world, especially when it's a target on the board. Yeah, anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. If it did help you, of course, make sure you do hit that like button. And if you're brand new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. But anyway, my name's Goalazio. Check me out on Twitter and Facebook and all that jazz in the description. And, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.